Okay, the next question, Brian, we'll start with you. You guys have all stated economic growth is one of the things that are important in your district. Can you give us some specific examples of how you will impact economic growth in District 7?
Sure. So when it comes to opening a business in the city of Fresno, it's much more difficult here than it is in, say, Madera, for instance. You know, I opened a business, was involved in opening businesses for clients also in Madera versus Fresno, and the regulatory red tape it takes to get things started here is more difficult. And there's almost, in some instances, people complain to me that there's a culture of, you know, the customer is always wrong kind of thing. There's two avenues that I see to making things more business friendly in this community. One is the realization that we now, as the tax code has changed, have a real opportunity to attract businesses to Fresno, and which is happening right now. There are groups within the city of Fresno that are meeting with, there are bilateral councils in the Bay Area to attract businesses to Fresno. And that's part and parcel of the opportunity zones that are being created in Fresno. The other is simply reducing the regulations that stand in the way of opening businesses and bringing the cost of doing business in Fresno commensurate with some of the other cities. I've had people complain to me that getting together their business licenses is more expensive than, you know, most of the other cities in Fresno. So it comes down to two things. It's attracting talent to the city of Fresno to help set up and start businesses, and it's also reducing the regulations that make it more difficult to do business in the city of Fresno.
Thank you, Brian. Beva?
So in the last 10 years of being the director of Cultiva la Salud, I have helped to support micro-business development among low-income disenfranchised community members. Most recently, we launched a mobile vending project that helps to bring the fruits and vegetables that are not present in many of our neighborhoods available and accessible. I've also helped to establish a community kitchen that allows it to be the hub of a lot of economic development in terms of small businesses being able to prep food that goes out to the community. So I am very knowledgeable about some of the shortcomings and the challenges in establishing a business in Fresno. For example, none of the forms were available in other languages. So my organization actually helped to work with the city of Fresno to create language access in filing for those permitting and licensing forms. I do think that we have a lot of inefficiencies because there isn't a direct pathway, a very clear pathway for businesses to develop. So we need to make sure that we're allowing a very easy on-road and on-ramp to business development in the city. Unfortunately, we have a history of catering to very large businesses coming in. Those very large businesses do not pay living wages or prevailing wages to their employees. So what I'm in favor of is actually helping to support the entrepreneurial spirit that exists in the people who live in my district. So they should definitely be first and foremost in terms of those business opportunities coming into the district. I also believe that we need to make sure that we are ready for business opportunities. And so that means that we're investing in cultivating residents in our district through educational opportunities as well as vocational training. So again, that they are well positioned to benefit from those business and employment opportunities.
Thank you, Beva. Nelson?
Sure. So the first component of my ideas, I want to go back to what I mentioned earlier, enhanced infrastructure financing districts and the ability to have tax increment financing, which is not something new in the city of Fresno. We've seen this before under redevelopment, which we had as recently as 2011. And you know, the city putting their foot forward initially and investing in blighted areas and increasing the property tax on value on a property, whether it's a park or a business or some kind of civic infrastructure, they have to put their foot forward first. And I think we're doing that, and where we have an infrastructural investment, the government doesn't create jobs, so we do create the environments conducive for small business to thrive. And so tax increment financing is definitely one of the first tools the government can put forward, city government can put forward to create that environment. Second, I think we have the ability to support small businesses in this city a lot more so than we have in the past. And what I mean by that is kind of alluding to what a couple of the other candidates talked about. We've kind of offered the farm to some of these very big businesses in the past. And most recently, I think an example would be the Amazon #2 headquarters. So we did get the Amazon warehouse here with those jobs, but there was a proposal to receive the Amazon #2 headquarters. And in that proposal, notwithstanding all the details, the city offered very big tax breaks. They offered the ability for Amazon to control some of the tax dollars they were going to produce and bring into the city. There was going to be some kind of committee where it was half city officials, half Amazon, and that really demonstrates. I mean, we were really willing to do a lot to get these jobs. And so I'd really like to know the value of all that cumulatively, and ask why aren't we delivering that value to in tax cuts to small businesses in our city and making it easier for them to start up.
Okay, thank you, Nelson.